Am I the bad guy for telling my daughters the truth about his father? I got pregnant in college when I was 19. Her father was in the same position. Prior to doing the deed, I told him if anything were to happen, I will not be getting an abortion. He said he understood. When I got pregnant, he refused any contact with my baby of responsibility. He took things further by telling my friends and his family that I planned the pregnancy to trap him, so they wouldn't judge his actions. This was untrue. He paid mandatory child support, but it wasn't much. It was hard, but I love my daughter and wouldn't change a thing. She's wonderful and smart, and she's my whole world. He reached out to me on Facebook saying he wants to be in his daughter's life. He's married now. I did some stalking online. His wife has frequently posted about her infertility struggle. I was against it because he's had no part of her life. It was me who had to drop out of college, works 2 jobs, endure the sleepless nights as a baby, and raise her. It was me that kept her belly full and kept her warm. He didn't give a shit. It was me that endured my friends turning against me and his family's harassment and the judgment of society of being a young mom. And now that he wouldn't be sacrificing his young years, now he's finished partying, now he's got his degree and job, and his wife can give him kids to complete his life. He wants the kid I raised for him, knowing he doesn't really have to do any work other than pick her up now and then. I told him my thoughts, and he got mad saying that I choose to have the baby, not him, which tipped things over for me. I asked him to prove he thought about her. At a college fund he's paid into for a while with her in mind of car money, he did not, which again proved to me he only gave a shit when he couldn't make more kids. I spoke to my daughter, but I told her the type of person her father is. I told her he was nothing for her, and I was honest about the fact that his wife is infertile, so he's reacting out. I told her to think about it. I said I would support her knowing him, but I affirmed he is not a nice person and his intentions are not where we will want. So she chose to not know him. After I informed her I ruined his chance to know her, that I'm denying her a father, I told him he was the one that did that. My mother told me I shouldn't have poisoned his image of her, that she probably feels rejected all over again and she's probably hurting. I know Phil I have done wrong by her. So what do you think about it? Am I the bad guy? Am I the bad guy for telling my sister she's fat? I grew up in a very abusive household. I graduated high school at 17, so I could move out the day I grabbed my diploma. I couch surfed for a couple of months until I turned 18 and got my first apartment at 90 with my boyfriend. We worked minimum wage jobs, working 60 plus hours a week so my boyfriend and I could afford rent. When we moved in, we only had a bed, a small 30-inch TV, my boyfriend's Xbox and toiletries, nothing else. Over the next 2 years, we began saving up money to get our first car. After getting a car, we applied to a job that paid more for fewer hours. We get raises every few months and profit sharing every quarter. We slowly began to update our apartment. Now, the only thing we were missing was a couch. The couch was donated to us by our apartment. Someone got evicted from their unit and left everything in here. The office, knowing we don't have a couch yet, gave us a couch. After all of the upgrades, we decided to start hosting D&D at our house. Just me, my boyfriend, my brother-in-law, and my sister, who weighs a whopping 375 pounds. My sister couldn't fit into any of our chairs, so she sat on our couch. Originally, we didn't have a problem with this until we noticed our couch began to divot in the middle, and the bar that held the futon together underneath started to bend. My boyfriend and I agreed we have need to buy her a chair that's built for her weight. The chair just came in, and we had D&D on Friday. We showed the chair to sister, hoping she will be grateful. We paid over $100 for this. We're not rich, so we had to dip into our savings to pay for this. My sister got mad at us, accusing us of calling her fat. We tried to calm her down, but trying to calm her down just made her scream more. My brother-in-law was telling us to look at what we started. I have to go home to this. You got this couch for free. Just buy another one. With my sister screaming in one ear and my brother-in-law talking in the other, I lost it. I said, summarizing, "Everyone, shut the up. You're completely right. Your fat ass is breaking our couch. You can lose weight easily, but choose to say fat. This is a problem you can literally run from, but you choose to be fat and collect taxpayers' money to stay at home and eat more and gain more weight until you lose weight under 250 pounds. You're not allowed on our couch again." And yeah, I admit it was a bit much and I should have a better control of my feelings. I feel bad for saying what I said on Friday, but it felt good to finally say it. Last night, my brother-in-law was texting me saying my bullying caused her to have a mental breakdown and I should apologize. I told him I would apologize when she apologized for bending our couch. So, am I the bad guy for calling my sister fat by buying her a chair that supports her weight? Am I the bad guy for asking my roommate to leave the room while crying over her breakup with her boyfriend so I could sleep? I'm a college freshman and I opted to go for a random roommate. I was matched with this girl Donna, and so far we have gotten along pretty well. Donna has a boyfriend, Malcolm, who she's constantly on the phone with from the time she wakes up until the time she goes to sleep. A few weeks ago, I wanted to go sleep early since I had an 8 a.m. midterm the next day. I told Donna this in advance, and she said she would be quiet. I fell asleep at about 9:30. However, at around 1 a.m., I woke up to the sound of Donna's scream, crying, literal screaming like someone had just died. I immediately got up of bed and went over to her and asked her what was wrong, thinking something horrible had just happened. It took me a little bit to get it out of her, but she managed to tell me that Malcolm just broken up with her over text. I felt awful for her. No one deserves that, and spent a while trying to comfort her, but she wouldn't come down at all. She just kept sobbing and sobbing very loudly, which is very understandable since I was my understanding that they had been together for a while. Here is where I might be the bad guy, though eventually it started to get closer to 2:30 a.m. and Donna still wasn't coming down. But I needed sleep since I had a midterm in 5 hours, so I suggested we both just go to sleep and revisit it later. She just looked at me like I was insane and asked if I really expected her to sleep, and then kept crying. I know it was unlikely she would come down anytime soon, so I very gently asked her if she could leave the room until she was able to calm down a bit so I could sleep. Again, Donna just looked at me like I was crazy and didn't say anything, just kept crying. I repeated myself, Again, being as nice as possible, that she could go to the bathroom or do laundry room to compose herself and come back when she was all ready. Finally, she just got up without looking at me and stomped out, still crying, and I just went back to sleep. When I woke up from midterm, she was back in her bed and sleeping. But since then, she hardly said a word to me. To note, I couldn't go to a friend's dorm to spend the night since most of my friends live in dorms that they're further away, and I don't want to walk by myself in the city at night, and B, I wouldn't wanna bother them on such short notice. However, I still feel terrible about what happened since she was going through a lot, and I would really appreciate outside perspectives. What do you think about it? Write in the comments below. Am I the bad guy for telling my co-worker that my solo picnic is as important as her daughter's recital? Hello, I'm 29, female. I started working at a new company 8 months ago. I was headhunted specifically for the role I have, which gave me enough power to negotiate my contract like I wanted. One of the things I managed to get was a clause that prohibited my employer from contacting me outside work hours. If it is a true emergency, then they can send me an email. Otherwise, they can't even send me a text. Furthermore, I have a separate work phone that I shut down at 5 on the dot and then turn on 9 a.m. Another thing is that I don't work OT. I'm very efficient, so my work is done by 3 p.m., 5 p.m. if we have an emergency. I also take my whole lunch break outside the office and my coffee breaks away from my desk. My co-workers are not the same. They tend to socialize during work hour and have work left for afterwards. They sometimes ask me to help, but I always decline by saying that I have plans. I don't go into details, I just say that I have plans. These plans are 99% of the time just include going home, reading books or sleeping, but that is my personal time. On Monday, a coworker asked me if I could stay a bit later to help her out. Apparently, she was late with some initial work, but had to be done by that night, because she had to attend her daughter's recital at 6. I said that I was sorry, but that I had plans. It was a nice day, so instead of going home, I just went to a park to read while breathing some fresh air, brought some fruit and bubble tea and made picnic out of it. My coworker found me there, and she was pissed. She said that I could have helped her if I didn't have plans. I said that I do have plans. This impromptu picnic. She said that it wasn't as important as her daughter's recital, so I said that for me, it was even more important than her daughter's recital. She called me a bad guy, and some of my friends agree. So, what do you think about it? And also some important things. How did she find me in the park? The park is small, near her daughter's school. I didn't know that. And I was sitting closer to the street. She was driving by looking for parking when she spotted me and decided to confront me. I guess she wasn't that late for the recital. We are not on the same team. Also, she asked for help because she knew I know how to do her tasks, not because we are on the same team working the same project. Also, for people who are worried about my career, thank you, but don't worry. I'm not planning to climb the corporate ladder. All I want is a job that pays enough to live a comfortable middle-class life. I invested in a bit of rare skill set, and it paid me back with a 6-figure salary and being very sought after. All I have to do is to maintain my skill set and keep up with the items, and I will be golden. I have had offers from all around my state and a few more. For those who say that I am a miserable loner, I have a very fulfilling personal life with a tight-knit family and a great friend circle. I just prefer to not mix my work and personal life. And that means no befriending co-workers. Made that mistakes early on, but I learned from it. And lastly, for those saying an impromptu picnic is not plans, enjoying my personal time is and has always been my plans. So, write in the comments below what you think about it. I'm not the bad guy for making my friend leave my house after she disrespected my beliefs. Genuinely wish I wasn't have to deal with this idiocy right now, but my friend Emily is getting other people involved. So we are both 18, females, in our last year of sixth form. I'm Muslim and observing Ramadan. Every year I'm allowed to invite some of my friends over for iftar, the meal at sunset, and we always have fun. I usually mostly invite my other Muslim friends. This year, I decided to invite everyone on Monday evening. It's still Easter break, and some of my other friends, including Emily, had expressed that they wanted to join the iftar too, so I invited them. I prepared the non-Muslim friends about what to expect at our iftar, including that we will do to pray shortly after sunset and will then have the meal. I told them that it's disrespectful to walk in front of someone praying and to disturb us, and that it can even break our prayer and we will have to start again. Okay, so Monday evening comes, we have some snacks and the Muslims go to pray. According to my other friends, Emily said she was going to the law, which is next to the prayer room. What I know is that suddenly the prayer room door opened. There were loud music and she started dancing in front of the room. I left my prayer, called her a cop, and immediately yelled at her, calling her disrespectful and to leave my house and get out. My parents are furious at me because of her actions. Emily thinks I have overreacted the prank. She even had her parents call me and berate me, and she's telling all the people that weren't at the iftar that I drove her out of my house over a joke. Everyone who was there is with me, but other ones have taken her side. So what do you think about it? I'm not the bad guy for telling my mother-in-law she gave up her family and it's her fault she's alone. My husband and I have been married for 6 years. At least 5 of those have been almost no contact with his mother. I don't know the whole story, but his dad passed away when he was young, and his mom remarried a man who was horribly abusive to him until he moved out. He tried to tell his mother for years, but she just wouldn't believe it. It got to the point that for his own well-being, he just couldn't be around her anymore. This week, after years of silence, she shows up at our doorstep. She said that she's tried to call, but we have her blocked, so obviously it didn't go through. She was in tears and started crying about how her husband had trashed her house and left her, and she realized her son was telling the truth, how she didn't have anyone. She begged to talk to my husband. I said that she had come to our house to cry after throwing her son to the side for a disgusting predator until that stopped working for her. I said she made her bed. Now is the time to lay in it. And it wasn't going to be in my house. She was almost hysterical when she left. Her coming to the door put my husband in a panic attack. He's been too depressed to get out of bed since. I really don't care for that woman, but when I replied, in my head I feel obviously terrible. Berating someone in tears never feels good, and now I think I might be just made things worse. Was that a bad guy move?